That is why I would urge you to go all out so that we can establish these elite schools, so that these talented individuals do not end up going abroad. Because for a long time, imperialists have always drawn talent from here through scholarships. Once they are home, they do not return to the country. I do not want these brains that are here to end up abroad and not serve our country. Make sure that these initiatives succeed and that we can establish the polytechnic and technological universities we need so that these children can express all their talents and work for the benefit of our homeland. It is almost like
Ibrahim Traore understands that the country and the nation is built by the youths, and youths are the only people who have the energy to be able to build a nation. A nation without youths is a very weak nation, because old men and old women are they're waging up. Okay, so the only people who can be able to hold a country or to actually carry a country and make a country strong are youth. And talents and people who are coming up to have the inventions and having great mind, you'd realize that many of them are youths. So a country without youths is a country that is likely to fall. And Ibrahim Traore knows that people and the youths of Africa are going abroad for the further studies. When they go abroad for further studies, they don't come back, because when they get there, they feel like this is a green pasture. They feel like when we are here, we can be able to get jobs. We can be able to use the skills we've gotten through education to make sure we are growing ourselves, to make sure we're developing ourselves. And therefore, when they get abroad, they don't come back to Africa. And this is what Ibrahim Traore is saying. Let us all go out. He has not chosen a specific kind of people. He has not chosen a certain kind of people. No, he has said, let us all of us, me and you, all of us, let us all go out so that we can be able to establish elite schools for these youths, for them not to be able to go out for further studies, because when they go out for further studies, they don't come back. Mark you, these are the people who are, these are the youths who are African talented youths. These are youths of Africa who have great minds. Youths of Africa who are educated, who are open-minded. Okay? So when they get there, they are the people who later on become the greatest scientists. They are the people who later on becomes the greatest people, inventing a lot of things. Take, for example, the issue of Maxwell Chikumbutso. Maxwell Chikumbutso, the guy who invented the self-powered car, the SUV. That guy from Zimbabwe, he was studying abroad. Okay, he was studying abroad in the United States of America, and when he realized this invention, he was abroad. Okay, the only thing that made him not bring out this invention from abroad, it is because the people and the other greatest scientists who are there, they wanted to make him look like someone who does not know what he's doing, because they never wanted to be surpassed, or rather to be overcome by a young man. Okay, so they tried to block him from coming out. Or if they wouldn't have done that, Maxwell Chikumbutso would have invented this self-powered machine from the United States of America, and at the end of the day, this machine would be taken, and the government of the US and the people from the US, they would turn it to themselves and say, we have invented this. Okay, but it was just the plan of God that they will try to block him, and then he will come back to Africa and invent it from Africa. That is how we are losing youths. That is how we are losing talented youths, talented young people from Africa. When they go there, they start building the foreign countries, because when they go there, they study. When they finish studies, they begin thinking, when we go back to Africa, there is no work. Okay, there is nothing we can do there. We shall just go back there and start and continue remaining jobless. So what do? They choose to be there. What is Ibrahim Traore saying? Ibrahim Traore is saying, and he's putting it so very clear, that this is what we're supposed to do. Let us all go out and be able to establish elite schools. When we are able to establish the elite schools, our talented young men, our talented youths will not find a reason, will not have a reason to go abroad, to go for further studies, because the only thing that makes them go abroad for further studies, it is because they are going to look for good schools and better schools that they can be able to enroll in and bring out the real talent, the real skills, the real mind, the real invention that they are having. That is what Ibrahim Traore is saying. Okay, and you see, many of these children from Africa, many of these youths from Africa, they go to the foreign countries, to the West. They go there through scholarships. When these people, if you want to know that it is true, only great people and open-minded people are the ones who are taken abroad for further studies. When they come to Africa, when they want to take children from Africa, what do? They bring scholarships. When they're bringing scholarships, they only pick those students who have performed well in high school to take them where? To abroad for further studies. They don't take those who have failed. That's why they're saying, for you to be able to get a scholarship to the US, or rather to any country, to go and learn a certain or maybe to go and study a certain course, you need to have gotten these points, They only take those bright students, okay? And those bright students, they don't fail to go, because they feel like, even if we remain in Africa, even if we remain in Kenya, even if we remain in Burkina Faso, even if we remain in Uganda, even if we remain in Nigeria, there is no better schools that can be able to equip us with the knowledge that we want. Or rather, even after getting this knowledge, it will be very difficult for us to be able to get these jobs, because in Africa there is no jobs. So Ibrahim Traore is saying, let us solve this issue and solve this problem of our youths going abroad for further studies. Let us build schools in Africa, the elite schools, the elite polytechnics that can be able to these youths can be able to enroll in. These youths can be able to be equipped with the skills they need to make sure the real thing they want to come out of them is coming out of them. By doing that, we will prevent these youths from Africa who are going abroad and end up remaining abroad and building abroad. What we want to do in Africa today, we don't want youths who are now leaving Africa to going abroad simply because they don't have anything to do. They don't have jobs to do. They don't have anywhere to stay. They don't have food to eat. They don't have, like, they are unemployed. They cannot be able to get good education. They cannot be able to get good health services. We don't want that. We are blocking every route to abroad, every route to the United States of America. And that is why Ibrahim Traore said recently, I am opening ways for the black Americans who are in the United States of America to come back to Africa, because we want them back to Africa. They are our brothers, they are our sisters, and this Burkina Faso is their country, it is their home. So we want the black Americans who are in America to come back to Africa. Why do we want them to come back to Africa? Because Africa is their land. They were taken to a foreign land by force during slavery, but a time has come when they have to come back to their home, because we don't want them to continue staying in the foreign land, continuing to build the economy of the foreign land, and the people they are building their economy are the same people who are coming back here to oppress their brothers and their sisters. That is not what we want. We want our people to come back to Africa. We want our people to come back to their motherland. That is what we want, because those people, at the end of the day, they are there, they are paying tax to the government of the US, they are paying tax to the government of the West, of the governments of the West. At the end of the day, they're the people who are being oppressed, they're the people who are being treated so badly, mistreated, and all those sorts of things. So we want these people to come back to Africa, because Africa is their home. This is the only place where they can be peaceful, they can stay peaceful, they can stay comfortably, and they can feel happy staying. Okay, but how will that happen? Number one, we have to build Africa. We have to bring Africa to the standards of these countries that they are in. We have to bring Africa to the standard where people don't need to go out seeking for good health services. People don't need to go out seeking for good education. People don't need to go out so they can be able to get good jobs. We want to build Africa to an extent. Africa would get to a point where it can be able to serve. It can be able to serve their youths by enough jobs. It can be able to serve the patients and the people who are sick with enough and good and strong health services. It can be able to serve people with good education. That is what we want to do, and that is the encouragement that is coming from Ibrahim Traore. Let us all go out so they can be able to do all these things. Let's keep our youth in Africa, because Africa can only be built by the youths. Okay, in Kenya the other day, people were demonstrating. Why were they demonstrating? They were demonstrating because the government is not doing, and the government is not doing what people expected the government to do. And what did people decided? They decided we are going on the road. Okay, we are going on the road because we want the government to start doing what is right. And the 95% of the people who were on the road were youths. 95%, because they still have strength. They can be able to fight for a country. They can be able to go into militaries. Okay, they can be able, these are the people who still have energy to be able to go to the farms and produce food, to work in the farms and produce food. These are the people who can work in transport and public transport services. These are the people who can work in ministries in the government, who can be the leaders of the country, youths. Okay, because they are the only people who cannot be deceived, who cannot be directed anyhow. They have their stance, they have their principles, not like African old puppets, old leaders who are ready to serve the masters and to protect the interests of the masters, forgetting the people. So these youths are the people we want to keep them in Africa, not allowing them to leave, not allowing them to go anywhere, because the moment we allow them to go, that's the beginning of the fall. That's the beginning of falling in Africa. Africa needs to be a great continent, needs to be a strong continent, because it has everything that it takes to become a great continent and to become a strong continent. The problem is we are having incompetent and irresponsible leaders who their work is just to go there, to go abroad, to go to IMF, to go to World Bank, get loans. These loans they are being given, they don't even use it to build schools. They don't even use it to build hospitals. That is why you realize that a patient is coming from Africa, is traveling to India to go and get treatment because he cannot be treated here in Africa, and it is because of irresponsible African politicians and African leaders, irresponsible and incompetent African politicians and African leaders. And that is why Ibrahim Traore is calling out all of us. He said, let us all go out. Okay, so that we can be able to build schools, we can be able to build hospitals, we can be able to build and create jobs opportunities for our youths to have them. Let the youth of your country go to school in your country, and at the end of the day, when he has done with school in your country, he can be able to also enroll and work in that country to be able to build and raise the economy of that country. The issues of our youths going abroad is a no, and it's something we are putting an end to it. That is what Ibrahim Traore is saying, because at the end of the day, these youths, when they go there, they don't come back to Africa. What happens? Africans, they continue to suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer. That is not what we want. We want a country and a nation where children's and where everybody can be able to get the best. That is the place we are building, and that is the nations, and that's the continent, that is the Africa that we are building. That's a great mind from Ibrahim Traore. That is very nice from Ibrahim Traore, and I hope every other African puppets and African leaders can be able to follow that, because when they start following that, then we are in a good position, and we are on the way to liberate Africa and to revolve Africa. Thank you so much for watching African Stream on your channel, my brothers, my black brothers and sisters from diaspora, from Caribbean, and from Africa in particular. I salute you guys so much. Adios, muchachos.